Okay, so today we're looking at what we call box and whisker plot, or some people just call box plot. Okay, so box and whisker plot or just box plot is the same thing. We've been dealing with median. We talked about the median. We talk about lower quartile, upper quartile, and we even talk about the interquartile range. So what I'm going to do first, so I'm gonna do only two examples today, 13 and 14. So let me take a look at number 13. What I'm going to do to begin with, let me write my numbers from small to large. So the hard part of this assignment is actually putting the numbers in order from small to large. So I'm going to write this 22.3, 24.1, 25.5, 30, 32.2, 33.3, 34.3, and then let's see, 44.5, and lastly 47.7. So let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. Supposed to be 9. Okay, good. So a couple things I need to find. There's a few, quite a good amount of numbers I need to find. My first number I need to find is gonna be the median. Okay, we've been dealing with the median a lot, so I think we know how to find the median. The median in this case happens to be a number. So 32.2. That's my median. I know, yes, last week on Wednesday, we were talking about the quartile 1 and quartile 3, or the lower quartile, upper quartile. Remember, we talk about those. So the lower quartile, in this case, will be, I'm going to do a line, right? Notice how my median, I circle it because it was a number, right? There was a number in the middle. Now here, for my lower quartile, I'm going to do a line to emphasize that it is in between 24.1 and 25.5. So I'm going to say, okay, my quartile 1, it's 24.1 plus 25.5 divided by 2. Because if I asked you, what's the number between 24.1 and 25.5? Probably you could figure it out. But instead, I'm going to add this. So I'm going to get 49.6. Okay. Now 49.6 divided by 2. Let me use a calculator here at the side. 49.6 divided by 2. It tells me 24.8. Okay. So I have my lower quartile is 24.8. Now, what's my upper quartile? Let me call this quarter 3. My upper quartile, I think we've done enough. I'm going to say it's right there. It's right in between 34.3 and 44.5. Like right in between. What number is in between 34.3 and 44.5? Let me add them. I'm going to go 34.3 plus 44.5 divided by 2. Again, let me use a calculator here at the side. So I'm going 34.3 plus 44.5. I add this and then divide it by 2, and I get 39.4. Okay. Now, let me get a number line. Now, some of you might be like, whoa, Mr. Lenzo, how am I going to draw a number line? I'm going to give this homework to you as a multiple choice. Like, I'm going to do a number line. I see my smallest number on the list. What's the smallest number on the list? 22.3. Okay, so my number line, you're gonna have to identify 5 numbers. Let me circle my smallest number and my largest number. So it has to include the smallest number, it has to include the largest number, it has to include the median, and it has to include the lower and upper quartile. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna say in my graph, there should be a 22 because it has to include 22.3. And then as a matter of fact, there's a 24 to my list because I'm not quite gonna use decimals. And then let's say I have, uh, let me just identify this way instead. In my list, it has to have a 22.3. Because I'm doing it by hand, I will include decimals. It has to include 24.8 because that's my lower quartile. It has to include 32.2 because that's the median. It has to include 39.4 because that's the upper quartile, and it has to include 47.7. There's 5 numbers I need to have. Now, in your case, so what am I going to do for decimals? What am I going to do for 22.3? Well, it has to be bigger than 22, but less than 23, right? So you're not going to see decimals on your choices, but you can pretty much tell just a little bit more than 22. That's basically what I need to do. So on my biggest number and my smallest number, let me put this as dots. Now the quartiles and the median, let me do this as lines, like little lines right here. Interesting is, let me close these lines as a box. All right, that's the interquartile range. Notice how from quarter 1 through quarter 3. Let me put that as a box. Now my box, let me connect it with whiskers towards the end points. So this is how my box and whisker plot would look like. Again, if you're doing this on paper, I will ask you, graph it. You draw the number line, you give me the values, and you graph it. Now, because I'm gonna do this homework online, I'm just gonna give you multiple choices. So there's gonna be four choices. Make sure you choose the correct one. Okay, so let's take a look at question number 14. Let me start by getting my numbers from small to large. Okay, so they're big numbers in this case. So what's the smallest number? I see 115. Oh no, 17.8. Okay. So 17.8. Again, I'm gonna put them in order from small to large. Then 115.2. Then 639.4. This is melting point in Celsius. Well, yeah, definitely makes sense that they're big numbers. Now they're all in the thousands. So 1,064, 1,085, 1,132, 1,455, 1,495, and I guess the biggest number of all happens to be 1,768. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. My list has 9. Okay, good. So few things I had to identify. The median. We've been dealing with median a lot. So I think we find the median is 1,085. Good. Now in the lower half, my lower quartile is about here. It's in between 115.2 and 639.4. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add these numbers, 115.2 plus 639.4. And then my result, let me divide it by 2. So I get 377.3. 377.3. Oh, my upper quartile, it's right here. The number in between 1,455 and then 1,495. I can add this 1,455 plus 1,495. My result I divided by 2, and it will give me 1,000. I'm going to say quartile 3 is 1,475. That is the number right in between. And I also need to know my smallest number and my biggest number. So again, because I'm graphing it by hand, I will include the actual numbers. In your case, you have to identify where is it. So 17.8, obviously less than 20. The numbers are big, so probably in your case, in my choices, I'm counting by every 200 numbers or every 300 or every 500. So my number line, I have to identify where is 17.8, because that's my smallest number. I have to identify where is 377.3. And it's more than 200, less than 400. Like say you will have to approximate. My median is 1,085. My upper quartile is going to be 1,475, and my highest number is going to be 1,768. Again, you have to identify where are these 5 numbers on your number line. The 3 numbers in the center, remember I'm going to do a box with those 3. So I'm going to do a box with the 3 numbers in the center. My lowest number and my biggest number are represented as dots. And then I want to connect these like that.